About a year ago, I had one of those not my best self moments. Deep in my work, and I was so stressed up with my deadlines, when my young daughter walked into my home office and she asked, "Daddy, can I have a snack? Daddy, can I have a snack?" By her fourth interruption, my patience snapped. So I pounded my desk and yelled at her, "Why can't you just leave me alone?" Her face froze, confused, and possibly hurt. That look stayed with me. Later, I realized it wasn't about her. It was about me. My stress, my fear of falling short, and my inner critic that's pouring out onto an 8-year-old. That moment was a wake-up call for me. Why was I so caught up in the battles of my own making? Where did that aggression come from? Later, I realized I've been living my life as if it were a battlefield. But does this have to be? Many of us live as though life is a battlefield, a zero-sum game, us versus them, win versus lose. This mindset is everywhere. It's in our spoken language. It's how we think, and it's how we live. We say things like, "I'm fighting off this flu. I'm fighting for my position." And the battle isn't just out there, it's inside us. Our inner dialogue is also a constant fight. We judge ourselves by saying, at one point, I would say, "I'm doing great." But at the other, "Oh, I always mess things up." Or worse, "I'm such a failure." We also judge others. "Oh, that person is so incompetent," or "they are so great, I can never be like them." And this wall-eye thinking just didn't stop here. In business arena, we talk about crushing our competition, setting up war rooms, and identifying those must-win battles. As a corporate trainer and strategy advisor, I'm guilty as charged. But why are we so trapped in this combative mindset? And even in Myanmar, when someone wants to encourage someone, how do we say? We say, "fighting." So it's deeply woven in our language. It's in how we speak, and it's shaped our worldview. So why are we so trapped in this combative state of mind? Firstly, it's negativity bias. Our brain are wired to scan for threats and danger, and it's kept our ancestor alive. But today, it's different. We are not facing predators, but we are facing work stress, deadlines, and social pressures. Yet our brain acts as if our life is at stake, and it fuels our anxiety and defensiveness. Furthermore, to deal with those perceived threats, what do our mind do? We have come up with this complex defense mechanism to deal with them. So we project our insecurities onto others. We take innocent remark personally, or we lash out at our loved one, as I did with my daughter, or we justify our defensive reaction by blaming it on external circumstances. Like, "I'm late because of the traffic." And thirdly, we have the social conditioning. Our social conditioning from an early age, we are taught that success earns approval and failures bring shame. So what do? We chase validation, avoid rejection, and in the process, we lose track of our self-worth. of that, we have the social media. I call it digital illusion. We have been bombarded with highlight reels of curated perfection. So every post, every success story, every filter image make us questions. Are we doing enough? Are we enough? We compare, we compete, we try to outshine. And no matter how hard we try, never feels like enough. All these fighting, this comparison, and all the competition leave us exhausted and empty. We become disconnected from others and from ourselves. This isn't to say that we should never stand our ground and fight when necessary. It's just that when combative mindset become our default, we lose something greater. Our dignity, our well-being, and our ability to grow in a healthy way. What if there's another way? What if instead of fighting, we cultivate? What if life could be less of a battlefield and more of a garden, a place where we nurture growth and celebrate our unique worth? I call it the generative mindset. When I embrace this mindset, it's transformed how I experience life. My work is transformed from obligation to purposeful creation. My eating, from guilt and to nourishment. Exercise, from punishment to joy. And stress, from anxiety to enthusiasm. Even when I'm ill, instead of fighting on my illness, I focus on healing, nurturing my mind and body. So this shift totally transformed. But of course, it didn't happen overnight, and it's still a work in progress. To help me stay on track, I created this 4R of generative mindset. Restore, replenish, resolve, and reorient. So the first is to restore our self-worth. A garden, it starts with healthy soil. So do we. We need healthy self-worth to be generative. But when we compare and takes every setback as defeat, we chips away the foundation at it. So I have to remind myself daily that basic goodness is in here, in each and every one of us, regardless of success or failure. And the second R is to replenish with care and compassion. Life is full of challenges. We need resilience. Just like garden needs water and sunlight, we need rest and recovery. Because resilience is not just about how much we endure, it's also about how deep and how well we rest and recover. So for me, replenishing means having enough rest, eating well, exercising, meditating, and spending time with loved ones. When I carry myself with compassion, I find it's easier to extend that compassion to others. The third R is to resolve our shadows. Just like weeds in garden, our insecurity, our fear, and our past wounds can choke our growth. So the shadow are the unconscious part of us, our feeling, our emotion that we try to push away, ignore, or even project onto others. Ever had that experience like if your reaction is way bigger than the trigger or the situation, that's your shadows at work. The defense mechanism that I talked about earlier, they created those shadows. So as Carl Jung said, until you make unconscious conscious, it'll direct your life and you will call it fate. So to resolve my shadows, whenever a strong reaction arises or someone gets under my skin, I would pause and ask, what deeper needs is here? When I unpack it, face it, and process it, the emotion can no longer control my action. So the fourth R is to reorient our intention. A gardener doesn't thrive by just pulling out weeds, but by cultivating what they want to grow. And we have to do the same. We have to retrain our mind not to fight, but to cultivate. Not to destroy, but to build. Because our combative mindset is so ingrained, we need to nudge ourselves again and again to be in this generative state of mind. So whenever there's a negative reactions or negative energy arise in me, I would pause and ask, am I fighting against something or am I creating? So with the discipline of a warrior and patience of a gardener, I train not to conquer, but to cultivate. Because the true growth is not about how hard we fight, it's about how well we build, sustain, and grow. Last week, when I was working, my daughter came in again to our home office and asked for snack. This time, I paused and looked at her and asked what she wanted. What I once saw as interruptions, now I see it as invitation. An invitation to connect. This is what a generative mindset in action looks like. And generative mindset isn't reserved for special occasion. Everyone can do it anytime. Whether you are working on a special project at work, helping out in your community, or caring for your family. Focus on the value that you are creating while you do that. And meanwhile, you also have the opportunity to cultivate your inner virtue of your choice, like compassion, calmness, or courage. Because true growth is not just about what we create outside, it's about what we nurture within. Even being stuck in traffic can be an opportunity to practice patience. So I ask you, not for a small change, but something bigger and deeper. What if you make this generative mindset your default? What if you uncover your inner garden and cultivate the outer value that you're creating and the inner virtue that you are nurturing and celebrate its growth every step of the way? Because the garden you tend within today will determine the world you create tomorrow. Thank you.